There's a state that ADHD brains enter that doesn't have a name, so people keep calling it hyperfocus, but hyperfocus isn't actually what's happening. Hyperfocus is one thing. This is something else entirely. It's a dissociative state where you lose your sense of time completely. Your body feels like it's moving through water, and your brain is operating on a completely different timeline than the rest of the world. You're present, but absent, moving, but stuck. Hours pass and it feels like minutes, or minutes pass and it feels like hours, and neither of those feels accurate because time has stopped mattering altogether. The tricky part is that it's not always pleasant. People talk about hyperfocus like it's this amazing gift where you're in flow state and you're productive and everything is beautiful. And sometimes it is. But sometimes it's the most disorienting, unsettling experience where you look up and 6 hours have vanished and you have no idea how you got here or what you're supposed to do next. And your body is moving like you're underwater. Everything feels slow, heavy, disconnected from your brain. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain enters a state of hyperfocus on one stimulus while simultaneously disconnecting from your sense of time, your body's signals, and your awareness of the external world. It's not just that you're interested in something, it's that your nervous system has essentially turned off the systems that track duration, physical sensation, and external input. Time perception in ADHD is already unreliable, but in this state, it's completely obliterated. You're not tracking time. You're not registering that you're hungry. You're not noticing that you've been in the same position for 3 hours. Your brain has decided that none of that information is relevant right now, so it's stopped sending you the signals. And then you have to exit this state. Someone calls you, you need food, your body finally sends an emergency signal that you haven't moved in hours. Your brain suddenly remembers the external world exists. And the transition is disorienting in a way that's hard to explain to people who haven't experienced it. You're not just coming out of focus, you're re-entering your body. You're suddenly aware of time again. You're suddenly aware that hours have passed. You're suddenly aware that you're hungry and thirsty and you need to pee, and your neck hurts from leaning forward. It's like being underwater for hours and suddenly surfacing. The pressure changes, the input floods back, and for a moment you're completely disoriented, moving slowly through that transition, trying to remember how to exist in real time again. But here's where it gets neurologically interesting and also deeply frustrating. Sometimes the dissociative hyperfocus doesn't actually come with productive output. You enter the state where you've completely lost track of time and you're moving like you're in slow motion, but you're not actually doing anything. You're just stuck. You sit down to do one task, and 3 hours later, you're still sitting there, and you haven't moved, and you haven't finished anything, and you can't figure out why your body won't move. Executive paralysis wrapped in dissociation, wrapped in time loss. This is where people get confused, because they conflate dissociative hyperfocus with laziness, or depression, or lack of motivation. But it's none of those things. Your brain has entered an altered state of consciousness. Your sense of time has shut off, your body feels disconnected from your control, and you're completely unable to transition between one task and another. It's not that you don't want to move, it's that the systems that coordinate movement, awareness, and task switching have gone offline. You're conscious, you're aware, you're completely stuck. The slow feeling is real, and it's specific. It's not slowness in the sense of moving physically slower, though sometimes that happens. It's more like your nervous system is operating at a different frame rate than the rest of the world. You're perceiving things in slow motion. Processing information feels like it's happening through a delay. Movement feels labored even when you're not actually moving any slower. It's the disconnect between your internal experience of time and external reality. Externally, 6 hours have passed. Internally, it felt like 30 minutes. Your body has been still for hours, but your brain thinks it was just seconds. The mismatch is disorienting and confusing, and there's no way to reconcile it in the moment. And then there's the guilt, because you lost hours to a state you can't fully control, because you didn't accomplish what you meant to accomplish, because you disappeared into your own mind and came back confused, because the people in your life don't understand why you were just sitting there doing nothing when in your head time was doing something completely different. You're not lazy. You're not depressed. You're not choosing to waste time. Your brain entered an altered state of consciousness. The transition between hyperfocus and normal awareness is its own phenomenon that deserves attention. You can't just snap out of it. There's a lag time where you're half in, half out, your body is still slow, your awareness is still fragmented, and you're trying to shift gears into the next thing, and it feels like you're moving through concrete. This is often when people with ADHD will either collapse completely, just shut down, need to lie down, become completely unavailable, or they'll force themselves through the transition aggressively and end up burning out harder later. There's rarely a middle ground where you gently ease out of dissociation and back into normal time. What makes this particularly disorienting is that it's not always negative. Sometimes dissociative hyperfocus is the only way your brain can focus deeply enough to accomplish something difficult. Sometimes the time loss is worth it because you actually finished something. Sometimes the slow motion feeling is paired with a sense of calm or presence that you rarely experience otherwise. But sometimes it's just disorienting emptiness. Hours gone, your body feels wrong, your time sense is shattered. You re-enter the world confused and behind and guilty. And society doesn't have language for it. It's not laziness, it's not a superpower, it's not depression. It's a dissociative state that some ADHD brains enter, and it comes with profound time distortion and a slow motion feeling that has nothing to do with actual speed and everything to do with how your nervous system is processing reality in that moment. It deserves to be understood as what it actually is, a neurological phenomenon, not a character flaw.